English-speaking friends, I salute you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Last week we spoke about the word uttermost, and it is found in Hebrews chapter 7, verses 18 and 28, verses 25 exactly. But I would like to just recall some verses of that passage we shared together, just to be able to go back to my message about Christ's ability to save me to the uttermost. In Hebrews chapter 7, verses 18 to 28, so we read, "The former requirements of the law are rejected because they are weak and useless. Moses' teaching could not accomplish everything that God required. But we have something else that can give us greater confidence and allow us to approach God. There were a long succession of priests because when a priest died, he could not longer serve. But Jesus lives forever, so he serves as a priest forever. That is why he is able, and always able, to save to the uttermost those who come to God through him. He can do this because he always lives and intercedes for them. We need a chief priest who is holy, innocent, pure, set apart from sinners, and who holds the honored position, the one next to God the Father on the heavenly throne. We need a priest who doesn't have to bring daily sacrifices as those chief priests did. First, they brought sacrifices for their own sins, and then they brought sacrifices for the sins of the people. But Jesus brought the sacrifice for the sins of the people once and for all when he sacrificed himself. Uttermost. Well, Major, I must confess that I am saved completely, so far as some of my sins are concerned. But I recognize that my salvation does not include those little white sins of my life. I must say that there I frequently fail. And so you see, Christians on the most vulnerable points of their lives have fallen a multitude of times. At the beginning, it does trouble them. They do, of course, wonder why they are not victorious, till some well-intentioned souls tell them in a book or in a meeting that it is normal for a Christian to carry on sinning. So through youth and early manhood, through middle age and probably into old age, God's salvation is lowered down and made powerless by his own people. Before I took seriously that promise, I tried as a captain in the Salvation Army to live according to the expectancy of this complete salvation. But I failed. I was fighting against spiritual armies of wickedness in my life, and many times I found my back facing the wall. It was a desperate battle against the forces of evil, trying to be as good as a young officer was expected to be. Each time I used to promise myself not to fall again, that I will resist any selfish moment, that I will ignore my jealousy for not being able to speak as eloquently as my wife, that my French arrogant pride will go away, and that the next time when temptation will come, I will be triumphant. But all those wonderful resolutions made with real intention to keep were quickly broken, and that, my friend, was my past. This is why I know that many Christians are going through that sad experience deep down in their heart. And I know that some of them are listening to me today, in that very moment. Listen, just consider, because one or two white sin in your life, you are robbed of this wonderful promise which will transform your life completely. Isn't that terrible? Now look again at those words in Hebrews chapter 7, verses 25. He is able to save completely to the uttermost. Are not those words almost bitterly cruel in front of your failure? I used to feel like that. How does God can expect us to be successful in the future when previously we have failed so awfully, so miserably, so disastrously? But let us look again at our Bible verse. He is able to save to the uttermost. And let us think about it. To save me, God must have known that I was lost. And to be able to save me from what I am lost, He must have had a pretty good idea about what made me fall, what was my weakness. What amazes me about that promise is that it comes from God to me, in spite of thousands of failures. You see, God knows the tragic sides of our lives. He has a wonderful intimate knowledge of each one of us. He sees and understands our worst as well as our best. Nothing of our sinfulness and failures have escaped our Father's all-seeing eyes. He knows our present and He knows our future, our sadness and despair. He can see how incapable we are to be good and to do well, and yet He whispers to our very soul, I am able. The devil slapped us with the gauntlet of our past. Our present life seems to prove him right. But God gives us a vision of our future, your future, my future. He is able to save us perfectly to the uttermost. I had in my life lovely and deep yearning and longings for a triumphant life. But those longings were extinguished inside me because I used to meet them with the thoughts of future failures. But one day I grabbed those three words, to the uttermost, and curled them up into my soul, believing that they were from now on the ideal of Christ's life for me. And so it was. Do you have in your heart such a longing for a victorious Christian life? Is the promise saved to the uttermost the ideal of your life? Would you like Christ's free gift of an uttermost salvation, a full salvation? We used to sing in the Salvation Army, I saw the treasure I might win, freedom from self, from inbred sin, a holy life, a holy fire to burn within if Christ came in to reign. Oh, wondrous change, there is victory within, all fear cast out, the soul kept clean, joy, peace, and rest, and hatred of sin. Now Christ has come to reign. Is this, my friend, your experience? Why not? If you're really and truly a child of God, you should be holy like your Father in heaven is holy. And believe me, put your trust in Him and you will see the difference. Give Him all your life and you'll see what God can do with you. God bless you all.